Well, I've had a great day in the boardroom at Toys at Home, and so I've invited the board round to my house for a few drinks and a bit of a chat. And you know what? It's been really lovely of the board. They've come round to chat to me. I really appreciate that, particularly because I'm a shareholder. I own £100 worth of shares in Toys at Home PLC. Now, it is worth £2 billion as a company, but I am a shareholder. I do own a little bit, even though I own about £100. And you know what? I've been given a few ideas, seeing what they think. You know, I'm a shareholder. I own the company, so I've been chatting to George here, suggesting maybe we could have a bit of a different strategy, change our pricing a bit. But you know what? He doesn't seem to be taking my views on board very much. A bit worrying that. I own £100 worth of shares in the company. It's a company I own, if not all of it. He's just the director. I was a bit bothered that he wasn't taking on board my views. But you know what? When I got home, I found a letter. The directors had actually written to me. It's very nice of them, wasn't it? It says, "Dear shareholder, you're invited to the annual general meeting and it's actually happening tonight." Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's really kind of them. The board have invited me to an annual general meeting because I'm a shareholder. Oh, now the thing is, maybe that's not because they like me. Maybe that's just because it's a duty that they have under Companies Act to invite all the shareholders to a meeting where the shareholders can vote on a variety of things. And here was I thinking that they liked me and wanted to listen to me. But anyway, if there is an annual general meeting of the shareholders tonight, do you know what? Maybe there'll be some issues that I can vote on and I'll be able to make my voice heard. Shall I see what we're going to be voting on? I'm sure there'll be a vote about the strategy of the company. Do you know what? The board at the moment are mainly in Europe and America, and I think it'd be brilliant to expand into Africa. Let's see if there's going to be a vote on strategy. No, there isn't. And you know what? I'm quite a bright lad, and I think we're selling our toys at a little bit of a low price point. I think we could increase the price of those toys, and that would increase the overall profitability of the company. That would be great. No, there isn't a vote about pricing either. And do you know what? I do feel for the workers, and I have got a bit of a ethical heart inside of me. And do you know what? I've been looking at the pensions that we're paying to the workforce, and quite frankly, I don't think we're paying the workers' pensions at an appropriate level. I think it'd be great if we could pay the workers more pension. Do you know what? That's not even on the annual general meeting voting list. And this is one of the big problems with corporate governance. Even though the shareholders, like me, own the company, strategy isn't the gift of the shareholders. It's actually the board of directors who set the strategy. And pricing, again, the shareholders can't control it. It's the board. And making decisions about how much pension to pay the employees, again, shareholders can't impact that. It's the directors who lead, steer, control and govern the company who actually are the ones who've got the power. So even though the shareholders own the company, it's the board of directors who effectively have most of the power. And in legal terms, the main time when shareholders actually have got an impact on being able to make a difference in the company is at the annual general meeting. This happens once a year, and all the shareholders come and they're allowed to vote on particular proposals. Now, most of the proposals are put forward by the board. Now, groups of shareholders can sometimes put proposals forward themselves, but I'm just going to concentrate on the main proposals that the board put forward each year. So let's have a look at the proposals that the Toys at Home board are putting forward at the annual general meeting, and these are standard and you'll see them in all companies. Now, the first set of proposals are to reappoint each of these board members that have been serving for more than a year. Now, as a shareholder, I think this is a fantastic voting opportunity. So each one of these directors, George and Hugo are execs, Mr. R, Katie and the non-execs, they're going to put themselves forward to be reappointed. And as a shareholder, I'm going to be able to vote and decide whether or not I want them to be reappointed as directors or not. And actually, that gives me a tremendous amount of power, because if enough shareholders don't want to reappoint a director, we can actually stop them from being our directors, serving on the board of our company. Now, that gives a lot of power to the shareholders. And you might be wondering, is that company law? No, that's the UK Corporate Governance Code. And if you want to get excited about one thing in the UK Corporate Governance Code, get excited about this. To give power to the shareholders, every year there will be a vote in the annual general meeting that allow the shareholders to say either if they want to reappoint any one of the directors or if they want to stop that reappointment. Now, that isn't company law, that's UK Corporate Governance Code. It might not sound very exciting or important to you, but it is an incredibly powerful tool that's been given to the shareholders, and it's probably, I would argue, one of the best features of the UK Corporate Governance Code. Because remember, the reason why that's so important is because it's the board who actually choose who the directors are going to be through the nominations committee. Us shareholders don't. Let's have another look at what we're going to vote on. We're going to have a vote to receive the annual report and accounts, the audited annual report and accounts. Now again, you might say to me, oh, that doesn't sound very interesting. The accounts have already been prepared, they've already been audited. What's the point in voting to receive them? Let me explain. The point isn't the vote. The point is, from my perspective of a shareholder, do you know what? I really want to understand about the performance of the company. I really want to understand about how the board are governing the company. Almost, I want to be able to see into the company. And do you know what? That annual report and accounts allows me to see into the company partially and helps me better understand the performance of the company and how the directors have been impacting that performance and how they've been governing the company. So when we vote to receive the annual report and accounts, the importance of it is the annual report and accounts itself, because that is the main tool that I as a shareholder have got to help me understand what's actually happening in this company that I'm an owner of, even though I own a little bit of this particular company. So we're going to vote on reappointing directors. We're going to vote to receive the audited annual report and accounts. Let's see what else we're going to vote on. As a shareholder, I'm going to get an opportunity to approve the remuneration of the directors this year. That's quite good, isn't it? Now the problem is the remuneration might have already been paid, and so if I vote against approving the remuneration, it might not actually stop the remuneration going to them, but it will send a big signal to the non-execs that I'm not very happy with the remuneration. And you know what? There's going to be a special vote this year, because every 3 years, as a shareholder, I'm going to be allowed to approve the overall remuneration policy. Remember, we needed to have a formal and transparent remuneration policy, which Katie, the chair of the Remuneration Committee, would have headed up. So we're going to vote on that as well. And again, if I don't approve it, I can't actually we as shareholders can't change it, but that will send a big signal to the non-execs that we're not happy with the overall policy. But we're only going to be able to vote on that once every 3 years, unless the directors want to put forward a motion in other years. And again, it's the UK Corporate Governance Code that is forcing that once every 3 years disclosure. So let's have a look what else we're going to vote on. We're going to have a little bit of a vote on dividends, a little vote on reappointing the auditors, and there's some technical share capital votes that we'll also go through. And there we have it. I'm looking forward to going to the annual general meeting because I'm a shareholder, and this is my main opportunity that I've got to influence the board because one night a year, or one day a year, as a shareholder, I can send a strong signal to the board. And I really like that because for the rest of the year, it's the board who are leading, guiding, steering and governing the company. Now, just a little word of warning. In real life, it's not just the AGM that allows shareholders to liaise with and try and influence boards. In the City of London, there's networking and all kinds of things that actually go on between major shareholders and the boards of directors, kind of conversations, influencing strategies, political manoeuvring. But that is the way things that get done in the city, and it's something I don't really know very much about, which is why we focus on the UK Corporate Governance Code at this level with the students. So hopefully that's helped you understand a little bit more about the annual general meeting. And the reason why it is so important is it's because it's the only time, mainly, when the shareholders can actually directly influence what the directors are going to do. I hope you find these videos helpful.